obviously a difficult week for the boys. It's a bit of a strange question, but is there a sense that perhaps this could galvanise you guys further and perhaps give you a bit of a boost? I know it's a strange situation, but is that possible?
I think it is possible. I suppose we haven't thought about it too much. It's always been a possibility that this was going to be part of the process. And yes, it was surprising to wake up Tuesday morning to the news. But yeah, we come together as soon as we could and pretty much spoke about how we're going to go forward. And that is still by trying to prepare and win games of football. And there's no bigger game for us than this week. We're sitting 3-3. And obviously the final last year against North Melbourne still sort of hurts a little bit, and we'll be looking to redeem ourselves.
What were your feelings when you heard the news? Did it just feel like a pretty big kick in the guts?
Not really. As I said, it was always going to be a possibility that this process was going to happen, and now it has happened, and we just got to concentrate on what we can control. And I suppose that's the way that this group's gone about it over the last 2.5 years now, is that we can't actually control most of the stuff that goes on except for our football. We've still got a lot of work to do in that area, but we're certainly looking forward to hopefully putting up a good performance for our supporters, who have been fantastic throughout this whole thing.
Have you got the resilience to stay the course for another however long this takes? They're saying towards the end of this year?
I have no doubt this group has grown so much in the last 2.5 years, and it might be a cliche that it possibly could galvanise this football club back to where it was 10, 15 years ago, and the football staff, the coaching staff and the players are all in this together, and we're working through every situation possible the best way that we know it. And it might get repetitive over the next 6 months like it has the last 2.5 years, but we'll keep on controlling how we perform out on the field.
Have you guys had a specific meeting with you guys this week, I guess, to discuss your feelings around it, or has it just been sort of business as usual in terms of focusing on Friday night?
No, it's just been business as usual. I think, as I said, it's a pretty important game for us this week in terms of where we want to go with our season, and our supporters have been fantastic, and we sort of want to give something back to them. We've been criticised a little bit in terms of the way we're playing, and we want to rectify that and move forward as a playing group.
Brent, are all the players happy to have James still as coach?
No doubt. James wouldn't be coaching without the support of his playing group and the football club and the football staff. So we're very excited that he's able to put his knowledge towards the playing group, and he's so excited about where this group can go, and it infiltrates through the whole football team and football club. So there's no doubt.
But given the fact that in 2.5 years, in Feb 2013, he did accept responsibility for the program, and now it's dragging into a third year. What is it that you guys sort of, it seems to put that aside and see past? What is it about Hurdy that you're able to put that to one side, I guess?
In the end, there was a lot of people that put their hands up and said they made mistakes, and that's a part of this process, and no one's hiding behind that. But his football knowledge and the way he bonds with people is a special attribute to him, and we're excited to have him around here, and that's what we sort of look forward to each day, walking into an environment which we enjoy, and to hopefully perform and win a premiership one day with him as head coach. And he's made no dramas about that, and that's what he's here for, and that's what we're all here for. So we'll be backing him until we get that final pretty much prize.
So just on the game, some wide-ranging theories as to where you guys are perhaps trailed off a little bit since that great win over the Hawks. Well, what's your theory? Obviously the game plan's been criticised. Perhaps you're not getting enough penetration up forward. What are you guys working on out on the track to address it?
There's probably a lot of things that we're working on out on the track, but that's certainly one thing we need to attack a bit more. Heard he said that, but it all comes down to our contest work, and I suppose the good teams up the top of the ladder are those two things. I know it's pretty basic football, but if you get the contest right, if you win it, you're actually going forward, and then you want to defend as best you can. And I think our defence is holding up pretty well at the moment. It's just getting that 5 or 10% better in those first two areas.
Who do you get back this week? Who can strengthen that team?
I think it comes all over the park, really. I think everyone's got to stand up and put their stamp on the game and where we want to go as a football club. I think it's important. Yes, the leadership group has a role to play in that, and I have no doubt that the guys are ready to go this week.
Dustin
Fletcher. I was going to say, so you go, Bruce.
Yeah, go, no, yeah.
Is Chappie, Fletcher and Cooney, they all like to come back?
We saw Fletcher out there today. The other boys trained inside. I don't think the team has really been finalised as yet, but I'm sure they're all right to go, and hopefully we can get them all out there.
Brent, without Ryder in the team now, obviously it looks like you've struggled a little bit in the ruck. Tommy seems to have been taking the most of the brunt of it. Is there a thought of possibly bringing either Giles or McKern to sort of change things up a bit? Is that
Yeah,
been thought about?
there possibly is a chance of that happening, but we're going to back our young players in and hopefully develop them as quick as we can. I know they're both very exciting players in Joe Danaher and Jake Carlisle. He hasn't really played forward a hell of a lot, so it's going to take time, but we're certainly working towards a formidable sort of group that can rotate through ruck and forward, and I think it's going to be a major weapon for us moving forward, especially in the second half of the year.
I think Bruce Reid mentioned on Tuesday online that Zaka might be out for a couple of weeks, perhaps with an ankle problem. How's he tracking?
Yeah, Zaka hasn't really trained this week. I'm not sure whether he'll get up or not, but he was one of those people that was training inside today. He was a bit sore after the game, so it's just going to be see how we go and see how he pulls up after the session today, but I can't give you a definitive answer on that. I haven't really spoken to him yet.
You touched on that final, Brent. You touched on that final earlier. How much does that still sting, and will you use it as motivation for tomorrow night?
No, I think it's in the back of most of the players' mind. We put up a good performance in the first half and sort of fell away in that second half. It hasn't been spoken about in the team meeting, but I certainly think that the players will be driving to resurrect that. North Melbourne are playing some good football at the moment. They meet Richmond last week, and we're obviously coming back from Perth, from Fremantle, who are a fantastic side, and hopefully we can match them in their run and spread, and their contested footy's good as well. That's why they eventually got to a preliminary final. So we're ready for the task, and that contested footy and taking the ball forward and hopefully trying to take the game on a bit more will help us.
North is publishing the names of players on its website. When did you find out about that, and what's your reaction?
I can't exactly tell you when I found out about that. It might have been the night before, possibly. Look, it's nothing we can control. Again, it's what they're going to do, and we'll just keep moving forward with that. It's out there now, and yeah, that's all I can say.
Went a bit disappointed or frustrated that the process starts with that sort of.
It's a process that WADA and Kaz are obviously going forward with now, and if you get disappointed, you get disappointed, but in the end it's out there and we can't do much about it now.
North is the worst tackling side so far this year. They're down the bottom in terms of stats. And you guys obviously have no problem holding on to the ball. Are we a better chance to see more goals this week?
Oh, we're hoping so, and I suppose we've spoken about it, and I spoke about it before, but we just got to try and take the ball forward and back our young forward line in, which it has been for the last couple of weeks. It's not an excuse that we haven't been scoring, but that is something that we got to keep in mind, and maybe the mids and the backs aren't delivering the ball as they should as well. So it's a whole combination of things. I think it's an exciting time for the football club that we do have these young forwards up there, and if they can develop as quick as we want them to, it's going to be an exciting football team very soon.
A little bit of talk about the fixtures today, Brent, and about the possibility of going to a 17-5 model where everyone plays each other and then the top six, middle six, bottom six play each other to finish the year. Do you have a thought on that, whether you think it'd work or it has merit?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I think it certainly has merit. You've seen it. You haven't seen the exact model, but obviously NFL just play each other once and you get an even competition. That's sort of where I think they're heading. I think it's a good idea in terms of you probably get a better gauge on where you sit in the competition if everyone just plays each other once and then those top six teams play each other, and as you say, that process will draw out. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Whether that gets across the line, we don't know.
Brent, just more generally, I mean, your first 3 weeks have almost been a mirror image to your last 3 weeks. Is there a reason for that? Have you guys spoken about that? What may have been, such a dramatic sort of, I guess, dip in output, I guess?
Yeah, I suppose we've still played good brands of footy in patches. I think in those first 3 weeks it was a consistent effort for 4 quarters. The last 3 weeks has sort of been up and down a little bit. And that's sort of what we're concentrating on, and that's probably been a theme at this football club for a little while now, and we're trying to resurrect that, whether it's experience on the field or trying to hold that without a preparation this year. I'm not exactly sure, but we're not putting any excuses out there. This is what we have. As I said, the contest is the most important thing, and then we'll try and kick some goals and hopefully stop the opposition. It's pretty basic for us. We just got to try and display that for 4 quarters.
Is it a timely time for Essendon fans to get out and support you guys tomorrow night? Hopefully you get a big crowd.
Yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity, Friday night football. Eddie had, hopefully we can pack it out with all Essendon supporters. We really want to give back to our supporters. They've been fantastic, as I've said. We can't reiterate that as much or any more than what we have, and it's an exciting time for the football club. Yes, there's stuff going on the outside, but I think this football club can deliver on an exciting brand of football and hopefully win a lot more games throughout the rest of the year.
Will there be some free marshmallows for the fans on
Well, I'm not sure. We'll see what Sheeds comes up with.